Good
Commissioner,
evening.
how you doing, man?
Great, man. How are you?
I like your double-breasted.
All right.
I'll be like you when I grow
Church
up.
tonight. You got church.
I got church every day.
Oh,
Oh, man.
quit telling that day. How about your book?
I do.
You know,
Preacher, I got church every day. That's something we got a good church on Sunday.
ain't that what it is? You say so. I gave you that. If you throw that out with her again, I'm gonna knock you out.
What's this?
We're at a conference.
All right, good evening and welcome to tonight's Anson County Board of County Commissioner meeting. I want to welcome everyone in attendance here in the audience and everyone watching on live stream. I want to start tonight. I got a couple of statements I want to read about some citizens that we have lost this past week. First is Dr. James Sims. Many of you remember Dr. Sims. He served as a fellow councilman or commissioner here. So August 23rd, Dr. Sims passed away peacefully at his home. Dr. Sims devoted his life to education, building a distinguished career with the Anson County Schools. He served as principal of the Peachland Elementary School, principal of the Anson Junior High School, associate superintendent, and then ultimately retired as the superintendent of the Anson County Schools. In addition to his contributions in education, Dr. Sims was deeply committed to public service. Beginning in 1998, he served 6 consecutive terms as the county commissioner for Anson County, retiring in 2022 after 24 years of dedicated leadership. During his tenure, he was a steadfast advocate for the school system and was instrumental in shaping the vision for a new middle school, a project that is now in progress. His extensive service made him one of the longest-serving commissioners in the state of North Carolina, and an accomplishment recognized by the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners. So I wanted to bring awareness to Dr. Sims' passing. This week, last week, we also lost a former mayor in the town of Peachland. On August 25th, Mr. Richard Allen passed away peacefully at his cabin in Peachland. He was a devoted public servant. Richard dedicated 18 years to leading the town of Peachland as their mayor. During his tenure, he helped establish community traditions, including the Peachland tree lighting, the Peachland Community Festival. In addition to his public service, he founded Allen's Professional Investigations, a business that provided meaningful employment to many men and women as security officers supporting businesses throughout Anson County and surrounding areas. It's ironic that I'm also going to mention another gentleman that passed away, but he worked for Mr. Allen providing security downstairs, and that was Mr. Bobby Bennett. Mr. Bennett passed away last week as well, so I want to bring awareness to that, and I want to take a moment just to honor these gentlemen with a moment of silence. All right, thank you for allowing that. Now we're going to lead off our meeting with our invocation. So I'm going to call Reverend Jerome Cash to the podium.
Thank you so much. And before I pray, I would like to also mention something about Dr. Sims. I had the pleasure of being his pastor for the past 8 years, and had the opportunity to do his funeral the other day. I would ask that you pray for his wife, Ann, and for all the rest of the family, and we would greatly appreciate that, okay? Let's pray together. Father, your word reminds us, blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord. And Father, I believe that's not only true about nations, but I believe it's true about states. I believe it's true about counties. I believe it's true about Anson County as well. And Father, I thank you for the privilege that you've given me to come tonight and to share in the invocation here there at the beginning of this meeting. And pray, Father, that you will bless the servants who are here, who are representing our county. And ask, Father, that you lead them in a way in which the citizens of this fair community will profit and will be blessed. We ask for your leadership, your guidance, your direction, your wisdom upon each and every person who sits behind these desks, and ask, Father, that you lead them in paths of righteousness for your name's sake. May you be glorified through everything that is done tonight, and may it be conducted in such a way, Father, that it would be pleasing to you. And we'll thank you and praise you for it. In the name of Christ our Savior. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you for that, Reverend Cash. All right, at this time, we're going to do our Pledge of Allegiance, so if you'll stand with me. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you for that. So, all right, first up on the agenda, we're going to entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved. Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Little Reed, second by Commissioner Gatewood. Any discussion on the agenda? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, let me get to our ethics statement first. In accordance with State Government Ethics Act, it is the duty of every board member to avoid both conflicts of interest and appearances of conflict. Does any board member have any known conflict of interest or appearance of conflict with respect to any matter coming before the board tonight? If so, please identify the conflict and refrain from any undue participation in the particular matter involved. So this time, is there any conflict with anyone? All right, hearing none, we'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Gatewood, second by Commissioner Mims. Any other discussion on the consent items? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. All right, moving on to our appearances. We have our Finance Director, Ms. Martinez Borgia.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Marina's passing a financial report around, so as soon as each one of y'all have those, what I'd like to do tonight is sort of do a quick overview of the financial report that I will begin adding to the agenda every month. It'll be the first agenda of each month. Sort of give you a snapshot of where we're at. And I thought it'd be a good idea for me just to come tonight and sort of go over a little bit. And then if there's questions, I'd be glad to answer them. And if you're wanting a little bit more detail, we can definitely get together and plan a day that we can meet, and we can just meet in my office if you'd like, and we can go over even further. Okay? The first page is just basically telling you the contents, what's on each page. So if you want to go to page 1, there's been questions in the past month or so about the cash balances. So what I did is I looked at July of 25 and July of 24. And if you notice, the difference from year to date is about 4.6 million from one year to the next. But if you go a little further up, you'll see 2 areas in red. And in those areas, those are your public school and your water fund. So you can see that our funding is dropping. Our cash in the bank is due to capital projects mainly. So I want to give you the idea, because we're spending money. You know, we committed to the schools $5 million, and our match has been paid because we've been paying the project because the school's being built. And then we had the water project, the filtration project. We've had to have matches on that, as well as the lagoon project. We had to cover those. Okay. So you can tell it's not operating costs. It's really we're using our money for capital for the majority of it. So that's one of the reasons why you're seeing the cash drop. And the other thing I showed you at the bottom, the prior month I did June. You can see from June at the bottom it says a $10 million difference, and the total cash from the one in July is a $4.5 million difference. So it's timing of everything. And in that you can see that the public school, we had a big payout for the public school, and we was waiting on the money from the state. And so when that money came in, it went from being 10 million from one year to the next to 4.5. So you can just tell how from one month or one day that the cash can vary. Okay. All right, on page 2 through 3, this is just giving you a snapshot of where we at with the budget to expenses and revenue by fund. So I'm gonna just really just talk about general fund, which is the first one. So you can see the general fund budget is 42 million. As of when I run this report over the weekend, it was, revenue was 1.1 and expenditure was 2.9. So that sort of give you an idea of the money coming in and and money going out. Typically, if you're looking at one month of the 12 months, you should be around 0.08 of the expenditures, and we're at 7%. If you go down to 3 from the bottom, is your water and your sewer. Those are the other two enterprise funds that we have, water and sewer. That'll give you an idea of the budget we have for that and where we're at with receiving revenue and expending for those funds. And I think this would be very helpful for you to see this every month. If you want to flip to page 4, this is sort of how you see it in the audit. You see revenues listed like current year taxes collected, your payments in lieu of taxes, your sales tax. So I'm taking the same report, this gives you your revenue, but I'm breaking it down by category basically, okay? So it'll give you an idea of what we're collecting to date. Now keep in mind this is 1 month behind, okay? Because I do not want to give you this information until we've recorded everything for the month and we've reconciled it, okay? So this will tell you where we're at in the different revenues we have each month, because this is July. So next month, this first week in October, you'll have August. Okay. If you go to page 6, what I provided here is just a total by department. So you can see the first one is the government board body. It gives you the original budget, what we spent to date, and available what left in the budget. And then it gives you percent of the budget, okay? Some of these numbers may be a little higher than what you're seeing, because sometimes we have one-time expenses that may come out in July or August versus it coming out once over a 12-month period. One of the things that we paid out in July is our workman's comp and automobile insurance. You're looking at about $1 million. So we could do quarterly payments, but they charge you an interest rate for that, and I'd rather pay it up front as long as we have the funds available than to incur that additional cost. So this will just give you from page 5 or page 6 to page 7 by department in the general fund. If you go to page 8, the other part that you may be interested in to see sometimes is our open project budget. This would be like the filtration, the airport, the school board, anything, the ACTS building. This will sort of give you an idea of the money that's reported and what we're spending. And that's it from page 8 to 9. So I'll start sending this to Marina every month to put on the consent agenda, similar to what she does with the HR report. But I'm open for questions, or if you'd like to meet to go into it more detail if you don't quite understand something, or if you'd like to see something more. But this is pretty much our budget where we're at for the year. We are working very hard on the audit right now. We hope to have the audit before the end of October, to be honest, and we're on track for that. So as soon as the audit is done and we know exactly where we're at with fund balance, the one thing I'm gonna look at is doing, I wanna dig deeper into the fund balance and do some analysis to it, and then maybe come back with some type of information or training or workshop for the board to look at when it comes to fund balance and what we can do going forward. So that's where I'm looking at as far as discussing fund balance over the next couple months, especially before we start the budget time in February, March. I'd like for us to look at that and sort of see what's going on with it and what we can do.
All right. Well, thank you for the report. Is there any questions for Ms.
I have a
Borsham?
question.
Yes, ma'am.
On the agenda package, it has Anson County Personnel Report. And on here, it says position budgeted. And on here for social services, got 60 that was put in the budget, and the current staff is 52. But we only advertising for 3 positions. Are we able to advertise for the other positions since it was 60 positions that was put in the budget?
I don't have that report.
It's right
I don't,
here.
that's not my report.
Whose is it?
It's HR's.
HR.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I can't speak on behalf of that, but I think 60 is the total, I think 60 is the total number of positions for DSS.
Uh-huh.
I do know we didn't budget 6 of the total positions they have. So maybe that is indicating, I don't wanna speak for HR, but maybe that's indicating the total approved positions, not necessarily budgeted.
What is it? Position
And,
budget.
and so you'll know Katie's out sick today. She texted me early this
But
morning.
we can definitely get the answer for you. And get it, and maybe we need to change the language or something to make it a little bit more clear.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Ms. Borgia?
Not a question, but it's an excellent report. Very detailed, yet it's easy to follow. And really appreciate you doing it.
I like simple. Get complicated, it gets confusing.
Well, I can follow it, so it's got to be simple.
All right, again, thank you for providing that for us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to our public addresses to the board. Our public address statement. So there shall be a time set aside at each regular meeting of the board for public comment. Each citizen who wishes to speak during this time must sign up on a sign-up sheet prior to the start of the meeting. Each citizen shall be allowed 3 minutes for their presentation. All citizens are expected to follow proper decorum and shall not use profanity nor defamatory speech. The public is expected to remain seated except when leaving the room. Only presenters listed on the agenda or recognized by the chairman will be called to the podium to address the board. Commissioners are expected not to comment on matters brought to the board during this time, but to delay action or comment until staff has had an opportunity to research the subject matter and to report necessary and relevant information to all members of the board. So at this time, I'm going to call Charles McGinnis.
Thank you for letting me talk tonight.
Yes, sir.
And I want to talk a little bit about that landfill. I put a package on your desk, this little 2-page packet. And it kind of addresses the majority of my concerns about that landfill. I want to start with some good news, though. My vet bills are down. I've got 2 donkeys and a horse, and I haven't had a single vet bill this year. The odors are less frequent. They really are. I've heard it from several people and around the Polkton community that it's down. And I always keep an eye on that bridge there at Brown Creek and down there below the landfill there, and there's no oil slicks on it. This year anyway, I haven't seen any oil slicks. So that tells me that they've done something about the leachate leaking into the creek. So I'm really positive about or excited about the improvements that's been done out there. But that said, there's still a long way to go. We know there's cadmium in that landfill. Cadmium's some nasty stuff. We know there's asbestos in that landfill. And there's all forms of PFAS plastic contaminants up there. And of course, industrial waste. And that stuff is blowing all over this county. I've been flying a good bit lately, and every time I go up, I see that stuff downwind blowing. One day it was about halfway to Polkton. That's how bad it was. And if you look on the back page of my packet, you'll see some pictures. I dated them in the right-hand corner on most of them except for one to kind of give you an idea of when I took those pictures. A lot of times the weather is just too rough. I can't hold the camera still, so that's the reason. They were up there yesterday evening, and I didn't get any pictures because it was just too rough. I also want to point out on this back page of the first page, page 2, which is in the back of the first page there, some anomalies that need to be addressed. And if you look on fourth quarter 2024, there were 76 locations where they had, quote, exceedances. And exceedance is just a hole, is where the toxic gases are seeping out of the ground. And the EPA limit is 500 parts per million. Worst case was 50,000 parts per million. That's almost 10,000 times as much as the EPA actually allows. I averaged up all 76 locations, and the average of all of them was 510% over the 500 parts per million limit. So if you can see, there's some pretty bad leaks up there right now. So they play whack-a-mole. They throw dirt on it, and they knock out, and they cover it up, and they try to get it down. It usually takes them 2 or 3 weeks to get those stopped. They don't go back and check all over. They just go back and check the ones that were caught. So then, first quarter 2025, 102 locations had exceedances. And the worst case was 88,000 parts per million. That's 17,500% over the legal limit. I averaged out all 102 locations. It was the average was 856% over the legal limit. I hope you understand the magnitude of these leaks up there, and this also explains why, for the last 5 years, we've been so adamant about trying to get these odors down. This is just proof that we weren't dreaming it. And then the second quarter, this one came in June. They had 37 locations. Again, this one looked better, but it's still way over. The average of all of the exceedances was 7,500% over the allowed. I'm sorry. The worst case was 7,500% over. The average was 450% over the legal limit. That was the average of all 37 locations.
All right, Mr. McGinnis, I appreciate the report that you've given us, and each commissioner has it in their hands. We can review it. I will tell you, and as we've already spoken, I have been in contact with DEQ. Matter of fact, there's a new contact person at DEQ that I've been informed of, and in the process of discussing this with them.
Can I mention one more thing real quick?
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to let you know that Los Angeles, California, they've got a landfill about our size. Looks a lot like our landfill. It's on fire and shut down. The irony of that is the same people running that one is running ours. So it gives you a clue of what we may see in the future. Okay, I appreciate let me go over.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, up next we have Chad Pfeiffer.
Good evening, how are y'all? I appreciate the
Good.
opportunity to speak this evening. I will do my best to stick to the 3-minute rule in
Thank
respect of everybody's time. When it comes to time, I have a point I'd like to bring up. I'm here kind of representing Friends of Anson County Animal Shelter. I know a lot of topic with Friends has been a hot topic of what's going on with the shelter, animal control, and everything. As of late, in the last few meetings, in the last 6 to 8 weeks, there's been a whole big ordeal with the director potentially leaving, putting in a notice and then withdrawing that last minute. And I, as a volunteer, would like to express my displeasure with the leadership of Anson County as far as the animal shelter goes. There's been a lot of empty promises that have gone on there's no staff at the animal shelter. Anything that gets done there has been done by volunteers, myself one of which. There was a almost $50,000 grant for doors for new kennel gates at the shelter that was, applied for and gotten. And to the best of my knowledge, I don't remember exactly how long ago, 6, 7 weeks ago, it was promised in 2 weeks somebody would be up there to start installing those kennel doors. I don't think anybody's been there yet, but the kennel doors have been installed. I did it myself. I understand that there are budgeting problems with the county. Leading off the meeting with the budget thing, there are clearly some budgeting issues or lack of planning for budgeting for Anson County. There are positions in the budget for staff for the shelter that apparently have not been hired for. I don't know if they're on hold for whatever reason. I'm not privy to that information. I don't know if it's because of the proposal for Friends to potentially take over the county shelter. Not exactly sure of that. Funding is a problem. Money is always the big topic. Money drives everything. We all know that. But if you take money off the table, you guys, each and every one of you, ladies and gentlemen, are leadership of Anson County. So I would expect a good leader to lead by example. I had been at the shelter a good bit recently, especially in the week that Maureen was potentially going to leave, and I only recognized 2 people up here that even showed their face there. We all come from different backgrounds. We all have different amounts of money that we can appropriate. We can volunteer. We can donate ourselves. But each and every person in this room, commissioners and audience both, all have 24 hours in a day. What defines you is how you invest your time. I work a full-time job. I also work a part-time job as a brick mason, doing jobs for myself. But yet I still found time to go there, to volunteer, to help, to move things, to take care of animals, to provide, better welfare for these animals. I have 17 seconds left. One more thing I'll bring up. People at the county, as far as the county staff is supposed to mow the grass there. I have personally brought my lawnmower from home to the animal shelter to mow grass that was 3 feet tall outside. Would you want to go into any business, whether it be a shelter or whatever, and expend your money and expend your time thinking that's a good place when you got grass outside that's 3 feet tall? I mean, is that inviting for anyone? No wonder things are awry here, and I just want to express my concern for that. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for that, Mr. Pfeiffer. All right, that concludes our public addresses to the board. So at this time, we're going to move on down to our manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The first item is a contract extension, if you will, with what I call the Department of Public Service, and it's sometimes referred to as adult correction. As you know, they are also occupying part of the old Bill building. This will extend it for another few years, and the term that has been expressed here is the same term that has been the previous ones, $1 a year.
Do we have the opportunity to increase that amount?
If that's the board's pleasure, yes, sir.
Is that your desire?
Well, how much does it cost the county to maintain that property?
Well, we do the maintenance, as Commissioner Little Reed can attest to, because she's also in that building.
We're sharing
And-
everything with them. Bathrooms and stuff like that.
Understand, but there's a cost to maintain the Belt building, and they occupy half of the facility, about half of it. So what does it cost to maintain the facility for a total year?
I can get you the exact number for the maintenance of that, specifically that building. As a matter of fact, what I did was we had contracts with the folks that do the maintenance and the janitorial, if you will. And knowing that they had expired several years ago, and we still didn't have an active contract, we put those out for bid. And matter of fact, the 2 new contractors just started that operation today. So it'll be easy for me to talk to Mr. Small and come back at the next meeting, the 16th of this month, and give you an accurate number.
All right. Mr. Chairman, I recommend that we hold on this lease agreement until we have this information.
Okay. I have no objection to that. So.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right.
Thing down here. The next item I have is, bear with me a second here. It's the North Carolina Forest final budget. Yeah, that's included in your agenda package. Our portion is 40%. The state's portion is 60%, so our portion will be $148,894. The state's portion would be $223,343 for a total of $372,000 and $237. So this is more or less a continuation of what we've been doing with the state. They always come in afterwards with what their final budget is, if you will. So it's up to you to approve it tonight.
Do we already have that amount allocated in our current budget? I can't see our finance director. Okay, I don't recall off the top of my head if this was amount appropriated. Obviously, we knew there was going to be a request.
Right.
Do you know if this changed from last year?
I think it's close to what the last year's was, if I remember right.
Maybe a small increase, I think.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
You're right. It's not much more.
Yeah, based off the state's COLA and stuff for them.
Okay. I mean,
In the budget we have for North Carolina Forestry and the report you have, it's $148,894.
that's exactly what they want.
That's exactly what it is.
Okay, fine.
As long as it was allocated, and I felt sure it was, I just don't recall from a few months
Oh,
back.
I understand.
So,
Make a motion that we approve the budget.
have a motion by Commissioner Gatewood, second by Commissioner Ellerby to approve the North Carolina Forestry Service budget. Any discussion on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
The next item is something that we've talked about a number of times, and that's an incentive package for economic development. You've got this in your agenda package. I've worked with Miss Martinez Borgia, and to her immediate left, Nick Addison, our planning director, and we've reviewed all the surrounding incentive packages from counties and cities and towns across the state. And it's actually based on, and if you look at the matrix that's provided, it's based on full-time jobs created, as well as to the far left, the amount of investment from 1 million to almost to 1 million, 1.99 million, all the way up to over 50 million and greater, as well as creating over 75 jobs. Obviously, the more you invest in Anson County, more jobs you create, the greater the incentive would be. And that incentive would be based, they would only receive the incentive as a performance-based incentive, meaning they have to create the investment, they also have to create the jobs and maintain the jobs. This is actually very similar to one that was discovered up at the state level by, I believe it was Melanie Underwood, who's one of the people in the Department of Commerce, because she remembered one that was done years ago. And this one is similar but different. We think, we're pretty sure this will put us into the recruitment game a little stronger, if you will. Because almost every industry is looking for some type of incentive to relocate, build a new plant, or even expand a plant. Because we could use this for a plant to say if Hornwood or one of the others wanted to expand, create X number of jobs, X amount of investment. We would not forget those that are currently here and been paying taxes for years.
Yes. Two key points that I've found, I just want to make sure that the board's aware of. One, you said part of the performance is that they have to create the jobs, they have to create the investment. They also have to pay their property tax in full before they're rebated anything.
That's correct.
So
can't
we
use
would
that
collect
word,
all
but-
of the money owed first.
We can't use that word.
Well,
rebate. You know. just
Before
the state
any
law.
incentive was given, we would collect all of the money owed.
Right.
And the other thing was that any business that is not, where was it? Any business that was not already paying into the ad valorem taxes, they're not eligible for this incentive.
That's correct.
So any, for lack of a better term, any recycling company that may already be getting some type of tax benefit, they're not going to be eligible for this, correct?
That's true. And we've been very careful not to promise anything to some of the other businesses. You know, recently with the Quarry project, for example, they haven't asked for anything. And we're currently working with some utility companies. They haven't asked for anything. We haven't promised anything.
So, okay. Just two key points I wanted to point out in this.
And I found out today that the Halal Slaughterhouse located up in Ansonville, you know, if you'll recall, we applied for and have received approval for a $500,000 grant. Those grants are to create jobs, and they look at it more for job creation than the actual tax investment. And obviously, they're looking to do 62 jobs in their first year or so. And I asked them, because I was a little naive about that aspect of it, could we use it for the belt building? And the answer is yes, if you sell it to a private sector. And as long as the county owns it, it's not eligible, because it's creating private sector jobs, which is exactly what you just asked in terms of creating those types of jobs from the private sector and their investment.
Yeah.
Because it builds the county's tax base and jobs, which we know we need all of that.
That's right. Okay. Who is going to be responsible once I guess if we approve this incentive package, who's going to be responsible for, one, offering this to industries, and two, following up to make sure that the jobs are created and the tax investment is placed here in the county, that they follow through.
The tax investment would fall under the auspices, if you will, of our tax administrator, Mr. Newton. The investment itself, we would actually monitor it. Nick is not just over planning, but he's also over the building and inspections aspect of it. So we'll know what they're building, and we'll see those building permits. And of course, the price for a building permit is predicated on the value of the investment being put into the building is coming. So we would look at those, and Miss Berry would actually help us. I still say Miss Berry, not Miss Borgia. But we would monitor what they're paying to make sure, one, they did pay the tax administrator the taxes due, and it was the proper amount.
Yes.
Because sometimes you may have a case where someone says they're going to put in a $20 million building, and it actually turns out to be $17 million.
Yep.
And that's exactly what, if you'll remember, the halal grant, we couched that with the phrase that it would be based on the final valuation that our tax administrator would place on it.
So, yes, because I agree that it's got to be based off the tax evaluation. Like I said, I can tell you I got a lakefront property worth $10 million, but if the tax assessor don't appraise it, that is not worth that.
That's true. That's true. And I know you're going to sell all that property that has river access, that really has no river access.
Yeah, that's right.
But the final approval, if you approve this tonight, we still on each one of them would bring them back to you for your final approval. Whether it's in-house with your current staff or whether it's through the Anson Economic Development Corporation.
Okay, because once this is approved, we still can adjust or modify this agreement or.
And that's a great point, because if you got somebody like, for instance, that says 75 plus jobs, or if you have somebody that comes in and wants to do 500 jobs, do you want to give them a little bit more than meeting the bare minimum just to get them here? Because in any event, you're going to get more taxes off of it that you actually keep for a 5-year period. Because some of these places go out 20 years. I mean, I was a manager in South Carolina for 3 years, and what they'll do is something called two things. They do a PILOT, which is a PILOT. They just pronounce it like the French. It's called a payment in lieu of taxes or a fee in lieu of taxes. And they set taxes and fee rates for 20 years at a time. That's how, in the past, South Carolina has cleaned North Carolina's clock when it comes to industrial development.
Okay. Any other questions, Mr. Woodburn?
And I think you touched on this, but in just as you mentioned, just say the investment is supposed to be, say, $20 million, and they end up only spending 15. So there's an adjustment made for what they actually ended up spending. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. That is correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Any other questions on the incentive package?
Or if Miss Borgia or Mr. Addison will add something to it.
Yeah, I would just chime in and say, what we're putting out today is just a guiding framework. Each individual proposal would be brought to you for a more detailed packet and approval individually. This is just a guiding framework.
Okay.
I made a motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Woodburn, a second by Commissioner Gatewood to approve the Anson County Economic Development Incentive Program. Is there any other discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, motion passes.
The next item is just a report to you to take and digest and maybe ask some questions at a future meeting. I requested at a previous department head meeting that since you had approved a flex schedule to be implemented by the different departments on a basis that they could operate and still provide great services, if you will, to the county citizens. You approved that, and it's been done, and we're 2 months or so into it because it took effect July 1, if I'm not mistaken. So this is like a 2-month report. You've got Miss Adams actually took all the individuals, and rather than cover you up with a whole lot of paperwork, she took them and digested them and put them in the package. So if you want to take a look at those, there's a couple of them that have not submitted theirs yet, and I'll see if I can get those and put them and bring them to you. And then we can discuss it at an upcoming meeting, if you got, the good, the bad, the ugly, if you will.
Okay. Any discussions on the remote scheduling update? I did notice that there were a couple departments that were missing from here, so I would like to see their summary of how it's working for those departments.
Right, yeah, we've got like 22 departments, and so I know we've got most of them. I think we got 3 or 4 missing, but we'll round those up and put them in an additional format to you.
Okay. Overall, it seemed like everyone was pleased with the option for remote or for flex scheduling. Matter of fact, I don't recall, but maybe one department maybe that mentioned remote work.
I've had 1 or 2, and it wasn't bad, and I've talked to those individual department heads, and and that's why I'm glad you let it be a flexible type schedule, because it's like the sheriff's office works different than DSS or the health department. All of your departments have different duties and responsibilities and different hours, and some of them are ending up now spreading it out where people can work a little earlier and others work a little later. Mm-hmm. So they've been able to provide more extended service hours to the public.
I agree, and I think that's beneficial to all our citizens. That's at the end of the day, that's what we're here for, is public service.
And one thing that fits in with it, excuse me, the board had at a previous meeting, I believe it was Commissioner Mills had brought up doing some cross training downstairs, and so now we have a person who is cross training from the tax collection side over to the DMV side, since I believe the DMV side's a little more complicated when it comes to certain aspects that the state requires us to do. So that's ongoing.
Okay. Any other questions or comments on the flex scheduling? All right.
The last item, and I think it's been, you may have it, is you'd ask us at the last meeting to advertise for proposals relative to operation of the Animal Services Department. That's been done. We received 1 proposal, and that's from the Friends of the Anson County Animal Shelter. Mm-hmm. And it's signed by Miss Morton. And so you have that. I don't know if you want to discuss that tonight, or if you want to, or how you want to proceed. That's up to the commissioners.
Is there any discussion from the commissioners on that contract?
I think we need to go to closed session for it.
Okay. Being it is a contract, if we're going to enter into negotiations or discussions on it, Mr. Forbes, I believe we're able to discuss. Okay. All right. I know we have a representative, Ms. Morton is here from the Friends. All right. All right. I'm going to open the floor. Do you have anything you would like to put in reference to your bid?
Yes, sir. We have done the math. We've got papers if y'all need them, which I made everybody an envelope. On the breakdown, we have talked to an accountant, we have talked to the other shelters, and our bid has to be as it is to run that shelter. That's the only thing I got to say is Friends are here to take over the shelter, to run it properly, to get the animals taken care of, and to hire people in order to work. Because I told you, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, I'm running out of volunteers. Everybody went back to school. So you're looking at the plans of the animal shelter. So that's all I've got to say is, if you're gonna do something, please do it so we can hire people to work.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. We will discuss it in closed session, and if you'll hang around, we may have some questions for you. So, all right. Thank you. All right. Anything else on the manager's report?
That's all I have, unless the board has any questions. I'll be glad to try to answer any.
All right. Any questions for the manager at this time? All right. Going to let you off light tonight.
I appreciate that.
All right, moving on to chairman's report. I just have one thing I want to bring to your attention. We'll receive a formal invitation soon, but I wanted to go ahead and announce the installation of the 5th president of South Piedmont Community College, Dr. Stacy Waters Bailey. It's going to be held on Wednesday, November the 5th at 5 p.m. Old Charlotte Highway campus in Monroe. Just wanted to bring that to the attention of the commissioners. And like I said, each one of us will receive a formal invitation soon on that. At this time, that's all I have for chairman's report. So I'll open the floor for commissioner concerns.
Just went back to the manager's report, and as was made mention about the landfill and the dust. You know, we mentioned this a while back. Has anything been done as far as trying to, I think, prevent that? Because what was mentioned at that time was, you know, if they'll put a water truck out there and just kind of keep it wet, might help eliminate that.
And I'm sorry, I've also talked to Tyler Fitzgerald, who's the manager there, and he says they're doing what they can to cut down on the dust, as well as I think they've succeeded according to what we were just told shortly. Mr. McGinnis said that, you know, the odors have gotten better.
Yeah, the odors have.
Dust is worse. So, I'll have to talk to him again and see if he can use maybe more water and cut it down. But of course, he also has to use the right cover.
Right.
You'll remember they need to use a real clay surface as opposed to something that's sandy. And
Right.
Mr. McGinnis is shaking his head to the contrary. But the clay surface is what seals it, not the sand. The sand's too porous.
Yeah, I know they made that, you know, he reported on that at one time in the past. They changed that and found out it wasn't working. So I'm thinking since, as long as it's been since they did that, it should be back to covering it properly. Should be, but I don't know that for a fact.
I'll check with Tyler and see what's up.
And that was part of the discussion I had with Mr. Watkins with DEQ.
Okay.
Was one is to cover the correct type if we're seeing the dust that Mr. McGinnis is reporting to us, and two, is that a air permit violation, and if so, what are the steps to correct that?
Right.
What is our steps? What can this board do to remedy that if they are staying out of compliance with DEQ?
Right, okay.
And so I'm waiting on him to follow up, because that's not his department, but he was going to pass it on
Okay.
to where it needed to be.
Okay, all right, thank you all.
I have a question. I had a constituent said that we voted to close the landfill sites earlier. Can you do a clarification on that? Because they were saying that the county commissioners voted to close it, but we're not closing it early. They said the reason it's closing early is because they don't have enough help
At the landfill?
at the landfill. But it's not at the landfill. But
You
the
talking about the
landfill's
convenience
closed early,
center?
but the
Convenience sites.
Convenience sites closed too early.
I didn't know it
I
was,
don't remember the board taking a vote to close anything early.
no.
Yeah, I think excuse me, but I know the landfill itself, you know, it's open 6 days a week, and there's 3 days, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, that it's open until 7 o'clock. But these convenience centers, I think on the days that they're open, which they're not open every day, they're supposed to be open on that same schedule. But now I can't say where they are or not, because I always go up to the landfill. And I know it is open. I've gone up there at 6 o'clock or 6:30, and it's still open on the days that are supposed to be open that late. Now, on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, it closes at 4 o'clock. If you don't, in my opinion, if you don't get there by 3:30, you out of luck, because they're trying to wind it down.
I know somebody said that we voted to.
We hadn't voted on
I just
anything.
want to get some clarification that the county commissioners didn't vote to close the landfill.
No,
early.
I don't recall voting to close it early.
No, I didn't.
Matter of fact, the last recollection I have was that we voted to enforce the days that the
Yeah.
convenience sites were open.
Well, open, yeah, absolutely. That's-
According to their agreement with us.
That was the last thing we voted on.
Yeah.
Was convenience sites. Yeah.
And I have another,
Excuse me, what
concern.
time are they closing?
They're saying they're
Commission.
closing about 4.
Now, the landfill does close at 4, but I don't know about the convenience sites, because I don't go to those.
They said,
Convenience.
The
sites
convenience
stay open
sites
to
are
7,
open.
I think.
Yeah, that's the convenience,
Open.
that's what I said, they're supposed to stay open.
was said,
Yeah,
yeah.
but now, I don't know if they actually are, because I
Listen,
don't
I'm
know.
just asking you a question that my constituent asked me.
Yes.
I didn't say it was true. I'm just telling you that we wanted to clarify that the commissioners didn't vote on it, because that's what they said, that we voted on it. We don't have to get in a heated discussion. I just said, we just trying to clarify this, not that we did it.
Yeah. We did not vote on that I recall.
Okay.
But I've made a note here that I'm gonna follow up Mr.
Okay, thank you.
Fitzgerald to find out the hours that they're operational. Any other commissioner concerns? All right. Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to enter into closed session for contract.
Second.
All right, have a motion by Commissioner Ellerby, second by Commissioner Mims. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right.
These things don't maintain a charge very long, do they? Mine was 100% when
Miss
I, well,
Adams
you
will
got to
be back
plug
live.
in. Mine was 100% when I got here. And it's already down to 47%. 2 hours.
Okay. Mr. Gatewood, if you'll make that motion again.
Make a motion, we come out of closed session.
Second.
Second.
Have a motion by Mr. Gatewood, second by Mr. Mims and a bunch of others to come out of closed session. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. We're now back in public session. Any other business we need to conduct here tonight?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we recess until Tuesday, September the 9th at 10 a.m.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Woodburn, second by Commissioner Ellerby to recess this meeting until Tuesday, September the 9th at 10 a.m. here at the Government Center. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right. Meeting is recessed.
Oh, did I put mine in